Hello, I'm Doug Cronemeyer, and in this video I'm going to tell you how to maximize the production of sulforaphane from your broccoli seeds, as well as precisely control your dosage. The typical approach is to grow broccoli sprouts for about 7 days, and then blanch them for 10 minutes at 70 degrees centigrade. This blanching destroys an unidentified epithelial specifier protein in the sprouts that causes the glucoraphanin and myrosinase proteins to form sulforaphane nitrile instead of sulforaphane. The benefits of this blanching process increases the yield of sulforaphane by a factor of about 3.5. The blanching process is well worth the effort if your goal is to get the biggest bang from your broccoli seeds. The downside is that the blanching process only works if you precisely adhere to the process. If your water is too hot, you may destroy the myrosinase. And if too cold, nothing happens. What would you think if I told you there is a much more simpler way to get the same exact boost in sulforaphane without blanching and sprouting for 7 days? Let's look at that blanching chart. We need to remember that we're trying to maximize the amount of sulforaphane we can extract from our seeds. This data was derived from broccoli sprouts, but it takes about 7 days to get mature sprouts. Then we have to blanch them precisely, then dry the sprouts and either freeze or refrigerate them for later use. It is a bit of a messy process. So let's look at another slide that may point us in another direction that will give us the same boost in sulforaphane as blanching, mature sprouts, but without having to wait 7 days and not require blanching at all. Sounds like a good deal to me. This is an amazing chart. It shows that the maximum amount of sulforaphane can be extracted at 48 hours from germination. It suggests that at the 48-hour germination point, the production of the epithelial specifier protein in the sprout starts to occur. As stated earlier, this protein causes the production of sulforaphane nitrile rather than just sulforaphane. The nitrile is of no value to us, so we want to harvest the sprouts before this process starts to occur. The question now becomes as to whether the sprouts at 48 hours are edible. Broccoli seeds are very hard and therefore not directly edible. However, these 48-hour sprouts have the consistency of sunflower seeds. They have about 1/8 inch sprouts on them. I found that 7-day sprouts have a mild taste of radish. The 48-hour sprouts have a very pronounced radish taste to them. Let's see what these sprouts look like at 48 hours. What you see is a 5-ounce mason jar that contains 1 teaspoon of broccoli seeds that have been germinated for 48 hours. These sprouts are ready to eat. This amount of seed represents about 50 to 70 milligrams of usable sulforaphane, which is what I consider my daily dose. My training as an engineer tells me that you cannot manage something unless you can accurately measure it. It is very difficult to apportion serving sizes from fully developed sprouts with any kind of accuracy. However, the small 5-ounce jars with 1 teaspoon of seeds allows me to precisely control my dosage. I keep 2 small mason jars in a constant staggered 48-hour rotation. I use the plastic screen door mesh on the tops of the small jars. And you can see what one looks like right here. Very small, and it's got a little screen I put on the end of it. I start off with soaking and submerging the seeds in water for the first 12 hours, and then rinse every 12 hours. Eat the sprouts at the end of 48 hours. You can also freeze them. What you do not want to have happen is for the seeds to keep on germinating past 48 hours. I am not sure if refrigeration will stop the germination process and the subsequent reduction in sulforaphane. You now know how to generate the highest concentrations of sulforaphane with the least amount of time and effort while controlling dosage. I have included a link to another one of my videos on growing sprouts in the description section below. You may find that also helpful.